So we are here with Nick Vitek of Living World Games, and we've talked about several of his games in the past. The newest one here has a really interesting tie-in to another form of art. We're not dealing with, we're dealing with something that, what would you want to say? Is it a webcomic first?
It's a webcomic first and a overall IP second, because there is a set of books that go along with it.
Okay, I wasn't sure which came first. That's why I hesitated there. We're talking about Schlock Mercenary Capital Offensive, tactical space battle game. Is that a fair assessment of
It's
the game?
a tactical shooter with objective scenarios.
Okay.
So it's not just straight slugfest.
Well, give us a little rundown maybe on some of. I bet there are people out there who don't know about this webcomic.
I did hear
so
about
maybe
that.
a little bit about the world that the game is set in, and then a little bit about the mechanics of the game as well.
Schlock Mercenary is a webcomic set in a space opera or drama style. It follows a set of toughs, which are Tagon's toughs, or a mercenary group, and they're going around the universe solving problems and getting into trouble. It's done by Howard Taylor. He's been doing it for over 11 years, every day, and hasn't missed a single day yet.
Wow, that is impressive. I understand that kind of deadline pressure, and that's for 11 years. That's hats off to him.
It's stellar. He used to have a full job, and now doing Schlock Mercenary is his full-time job.
Excellent, excellent. So the translation of this universe and this particular set of characters into board game form, how did that come about?
One of Kevin Nunn's friends is named Walter Hunt. Walter contacted Nunn and said, "Hey, I have a friend who does this webcomic, y'all should talk." So Kevin Nunn, Kevin Brusky, and Howard Taylor got together and they decided they were going to do a board game. We all put together a first board game, and after a year of working on it, the mechanics worked great, but it was not fun. So we threw it on the shelf and we haven't looked at it since. And we'd been working on a superhero game, which dealt with tactical shooting and all these powers. And reviewing it further, we realized it'd be great for Schlock. So we adapted it. I picked up the contract to do the game, worked it with Kevin Nunn, worked with Howard, and we decided to do this tactical shooter. But we decided that since the entire universe of Schlock Mercenary is not about just fighting, it's about solving all these problems and going all these missions, we wanted to make it mission driven.
Okay.
So that's basically how the game came along. And then after everything was said and done, I handed Howard 200 pieces of art that I needed. He looked at it, he's like, "Oh, hey, that's a lot of work."
Yeah.
And then he got super mercenary about it and cranked it out in about a month. Wow. He worked very hard, he got it to us as quick as possible, and we started putting it together.
Excellent. Now, in terms of the mechanics of the game, I see dice, I see, sort of there's a modular aspect to the board, right, in terms of the way you can set things up. Talk a little bit maybe about the mechanics of the game.
The mechanics of the game are based around, at first there's a modular board. It's all 4x4 squared tiles. Every tile is double-sided, they're fully rotatable, so you can make a great number of boards. On top of that, we have small hallway tiles, so you can have hallways between the major tiles. On each tile, you have little modifier tiles you can pick and put down. There's teleporters, there's armories, there's power-ups, a whole bunch of other types of stuff we're working with. On top of that, the game is based around a game system called Tac Dice, and that's the name of the game engine. Tac Dice deals with using the dice in a quick and easy way to resolve the combat. The attacker has a set of dice he rolls, you remove range, you remove auto miss, the defender gets a quick roll, they cancel each other out, and anything left is damage.
Okay.
What we really were happy with is how the equipment works. The equipment, you pick it up in a lot of games, and in most games you have that weapon for the rest of the time. And if you get the good weapon, you're great. If you get the bad weapon, you're not so great. And Tac Dice, when you pick up a weapon, every turn it degrades because you're just wildly firing everywhere. And then every time you actually aim and shoot, it ticks down a duration or charge.
Okay.
So you have to constantly be running around the board getting weapons.
And there are no lack of different kinds of weapons in the game, that's for sure.
Yeah, everyone starts off with 1 or 2 standard weapons, and the board is littered with like 8 different types of weapons that all have their own special effects.
Now, in terms of board setups, we talked about it being modular. Are there setups that are suggested in the rules, or are there scenarios that suggest you set up the board in particular ways, or?
There are 6 scenarios in the game, Each scenario has a different objective. Every scenario comes with a suggested board setup.
Okay.
So the game was balanced around those types of boards, but we've played with tons of weird boards and they all work. It all just depends on what you're looking for. The more spread out the board is, the more twisting hallways, the more kill zones there are. So yes, we do have set boards for people who want it, and we've put plenty of tiles in so other people can make up their own boards. There are actually more tokens in the game than we actually use, because we wanted to give people the ability to make their own.
Excellent. So, is this game available now? What's the availability, pricing, where can people find it?
Schlock Mercenary went through Kickstarter. It's currently shipping to our Kickstarter supporters. It's going to be about a month to month and a half after the Kickstarter people get it before it starts shipping to stores. So it should hit distribution at the end of September.
So in time for the holidays?
Definitely in time for the holidays, yes.
It'll be on store shelves by then. Well, are there any other games, previews of coming attractions that you could let us know coming from Living Worlds down the line here?
Definitely. Well, the first will be an expansion to the Capital Offensive. It will involve all the villains that we can put into it. The base game has a ton of good guys, all the toughs. The first expansion will have 9 to 10 major bad guys and 6 extra scenarios.
Now, are these going to be playable bad guys?
Playable bad guys.
Instead of the good guys?
Oh, definitely, yes. All playable by characters. One of them is going to be the Gatekeeper Master. He has 8 arms going around. Very tough. He's about the equivalent of 2 or 3 of the toughs normally.
Wow.
So he's like an alpha character. After we do the villains, we're going to release a set of miniatures, which we're really happy with. We've been working with one sculptor to get some of the artwork done for the Tagon, which is the main character, as a proof of concept. We're going on, we're doing pricing, and we're going to be offering that in the relatively near future.
Nice.
So the first set of miniatures should be all the toughs that are in the game, plus the attorney drones, which are the snake creatures that carry briefcase.
I love the art on the snake attorneys.
Yeah, it's great. They have briefcases but no hands.
The game has a great sense of humor, and I think that's obviously reflected upon the world of the comics too. It translates over into the game, I think, in terms of the descriptions of the characters and things in the game.
Right. Yeah, we definitely worked really hard with Howard to make it all thematic, to make it fit canon. Almost nothing breaks canon, but Howard incorporated some of what we had come up with into the universe.
Oh, nice.
Prior to the game, there wasn't this concept of teleport gates. So you had Stargate in the past, you have teleport gates now, and we use the teleport gates.
Excellent. Okay.
So there's a great tie-in, and then Howard's humor comes through with some of the tokens that are punny.
Yes, yes. Well, if people want to find out more about Living Worlds games, where can they find out information online?
Our website, livingworldsgames.com, Facebook page, and then we have a Twitter account at LW Games.
Excellent. Well, thank you so much, Nick, for your time, and best of luck here at the con.
Thank you very much.